Welcome to Welcome Home Doggy, a show that works to create a better quality of life for all dogs. I'm your host, Ariana Lasha, and today's guest, Penny Miller, is the co-founder and programs director of Frankie and Andy's Place, a senior dog sanctuary. Why don't you, as the co-founder, go ahead and tell us how you started Frankie and Andy's Place?
I've been in rescue in Georgia for a very long time. I'm a dog behaviorist, and I always wanted to kind of make a difference in the shelter, in the shelter arena. And I was going into the shelters about 4 times a week to help out with their tougher cases. And I would see that everybody would want to adopt the dogs that were beautiful, young, kind of picture perfect dogs, but nobody ever wanted to take a look at the dogs with saggy balls and nipples hanging down to the ground. Gotta be honest, I'm gonna tell it like it is.
Yeah, Penny, I don't think I've ever had one of these interviews.
Stay with me, it's gonna get better. No, we never had that kind of thing. Those dogs were just being left on the side. Nobody wanted them. It was just like, as soon as anybody had gray hair, they were just being left on the sidelines. But what I saw in those dogs was just a lifetime of wisdom, a lifetime of gratitude and hope and everything, but they'd been cast aside by their owners or, just dumped there. So I decided a very long time ago that I was going to open up a senior dog sanctuary. And thankfully, when I talked about my plans with Penny, one of our partners, she said, you know what, this has to happen. And her and her sister Crystal stepped up to make it happen with us. It was a beautiful partnership. And because of that, it's just continued to grow. It's incredible. We started out with just 3 or 4 dogs. And right today, as we stand, we've got 28. It's crazy.
Wow. And in doing my research, I was pleasantly surprised to find that Frankie and Andy were actually named after your rescues that you had, your original rescues. First, I thought those were people, but I was like, wow, I'm actually excited that those are named after her dogs. So tell us about, what Frankie and Andy meant to you.
Yeah, Frankie and Andy are actually not my dogs. They're so obviously the 2 sisters, Penny and Crystal. Okay. We wanted, because they stepped up when a lot of people didn't think that we could do this. I mean, it is quite a large undertaking to set up a sanctuary where the dogs never leave. They're not being adopted out, they never leave. So it's a big undertaking. And because they stepped up and said, we're going to help you make that happen, we named the sanctuary after their dogs. Frankie was actually a dog that I rescued from the shelter years and years ago. And I rehabilitated him, made him well, and I adopted him out to Penny, a big Great Dane, huge Great Dane, blue merle, crazy ears with a big comb over on the top of his head. Crazy dog, but fabulous. And in loving Frankie and adopting him out to Penny, Penny and I became good friends. There's 2 Pennies at Frankie and Andy's Place, obviously me and her. She's better looking. She looks like Pamela Anderson, by the way. So, I always say I'm the fat one. She's the skinny one. So we named the place after their dogs. Crystal, her sister, had Andy, and I was close to both dogs, and we just wanted to memorialize them, and that's why it's named Frankie and Andy's Place.
Well, thank you for completing the backstory for us. And
I did a bit, didn't I?
Yeah, you did. Frankie and Andy's Place is different. It's not like your typical sanctuary or shelter. So talk a little bit about what makes you guys so different and so special.
Okay, it's different because I wanted to give the dogs a home, a proper home that was with a family. And so we have right now we've got 42 volunteers, and they are all family members for the dogs. The cabins that the dogs live in is set in 3 acres of beautiful woodland, and when you walk in, even just walking in through the gate, you get this massive moment. It's incredible. It just fills your soul because you can always hear the breeze rustling in the trees. You can always feel the sunlight coming down, and it just dapples through the leaves. It's beautiful. And we've got 3 picturesque log cabins that the dogs live in. They're decked out with comfy couches, soft dog beds, The dogs even have their own kitchen where their food is made. It's very, very different. And the whole idea was, let's give them the perfect home that they deserved in their former life before somebody dumped them. And let's give it to them now for their final months. And that's exactly what they get. Each one of the volunteers is so committed to these dogs. It's incredible. They all have their favorites, of course. We're human, we can't help that. But they go the extra mile to make the dogs feel like they're part of a family and that they're their mums and they're their aunties and sisters. It's wonderful.
Right. And you basically described the perfect hotel for dogs with the big plush, comfy beds and things like that. So obviously those dogs are comfortable while they're with you, but do any of them ever get adopted from you, or is Frankie and Andy's place their final place?
It's their final chapter. That's the whole point of it, because honestly, most of the dogs, well, pretty much all the dogs that come to us are deemed unadoptable by the local shelters. So the local shelters will call us. I mean, I literally get hundreds of phone calls every week and emails as well saying, right, this old guy doesn't have long, but he's a sweet old boy. Is there any chance that he can come and have his last weeks with you? And as long as their temperament is right, which obviously I can go into later on, as long as their temperament is right for the program, then we'll say yes. And we bring them in and we set about writing their final chapter of life and making it as perfect as it could be. It's bucket list all the way for these dogs. It's, you know, these dogs probably drove past McDonald's in their former life and went, I'd love to go in there. Well, now they do. And they're like, I wish somebody would hug me and cuddle me. Now somebody does. And they get to go swimming and they get to go for walks every day. It's, I gotta be honest, they're a bit spoiled. I don't even think they know how good they've got it, but that's all right.
You had touched a little bit on the temperament. You can go ahead and tell us like the conditions or temperament that you typically look for when you're taking in a new dog.
So there's a term in dog behavior and we call it bomb-proof. And it basically means that whatever life throws at them, they're going to be okay with it. So we temperament test them to make sure that they're okay to be handled by older folks, by children, and also by handicapped people, so that whoever handles them, they're not going to turn around and snap. Now, I have to be honest, even though we go through all of that, of course, dogs have physical changes as they get towards the end and they might get painful. Then we may just, then we may have to take them out of, say, our community program. But once they temperament test well in terms of being okay with somebody touching their ears, touching their back, touching their neck, nuggling their ears, that kind of thing. And we've got a whole host. We've got about a 32-point temp test program. And as well, they have to be great with other dogs in an off-leash setting, because there are no crates at Frankie and Andy's place. All of the dogs literally wander around free to go and come as they please. It is exactly what you said. It's like a luxury hotel for old dogs.
I know my dog would love not having his crate. I mean, obviously it's not a fit for every single dog that we'd love to bring in, and it's heartbreaking sometimes that we have to turn some down. But it's a double-sided mission. It's not just about saving dogs; it's also about helping people too. So they've got to be great with both dogs and people. Yeah, let's actually talk about that. You said, you've already explained how Frankie and Andy's place is a healing center for dogs, but how is it a healing center for humans as well?
So there's a lot of broken humans out there, and when I say broken, probably that's too broad a term, but there are a lot of people out there who maybe are looking for understanding in their lives and maybe somebody to love them without judgment. And what we set out to achieve was somewhere that people could come and they would be accepted no matter what their thoughts were, no matter what their illness was, no matter what stage their body was in. We're a handicap friendly facility, so anybody can come in and just enjoy the peace and the comfort and friendship of these dogs. And We obviously take the dogs out into the community as well. They visit elder care facilities and adult daycare centres where handicapped people are. They do that. They also go and help special needs children in schools. They provide reading partnerships for them. The whole thing is basically providing a listening ear, a soft nose, a warm rub, so that these people who need that and don't have it maybe in other areas of their life, or just maybe need a break, the dogs provide that. But also the place itself provides that opportunity for people to just take that breath and have an ah moment and think, okay, I can center myself. It's like a timeout from life, and the dogs really help people to recenter, to take that breath and go on, knowing that the dogs have loved them and shared a moment with them. It's really very beautiful.
I'm Catherine Singleton, the program director for the Winder Barrow Adult Day Health Program for the Athens Community Council on Aging. We have a long history and relationship with Frankie and Andy's Place. We love the visits to our seniors here because it brings purpose to both, and it allows them a chance to have companionship, and it gives the dogs an opportunity to have time to be loved on and enjoyed. And as a pet owner myself, I know exactly what that does for someone's psyche and for their well-being, to have a companion like that, and to be able to have someone that is there giving unconditional love and affection, just really fills your heart. And I think some of the things that we enjoy the most is being able to have that bond between the senior dogs and the senior humans. And it's a way that they can correlate together and gives them an opportunity to enjoy the time together and the time that they do have.
That you guys are doing a lot in the community and for the community and bringing people together with dogs. And like you said, not even just senior dogs for senior people, but you guys touch on like the children as well. Really anybody in all walks of life can really benefit from Frankie and Andy's Place. It's amazing. So, and as you mentioned, people sometimes want to get dogs in Frankie and Andy's Place, and sometimes you guys don't have that room. So for people that are trying to take care of their own senior dogs at home and maintain their quality of life, do you have any tips for them?
Oh, I've got tips a mile long. The first one is diet, because honestly, we cook all of the food for the dogs at Frankie and Andy's Place. We have our own team of doggy chefs. We've got carers that come in and prepare handmade food, homemade food every single day with meat, fish, vegetables, some fruits, etc. But the key thing is freshly sourced vitamins, minerals, antioxidants. People don't sometimes understand the importance of good nutrition and fresh nutrition in a senior dog's diet, but it can make a massive difference. A big burst of antioxidants in the diet can really help with the brain, makes the skin perform properly. I mean, the skin is the largest organ in the body, and it's so overlooked. And a lot of senior dogs will have itchy skin, or skin that's lost its elasticity, and it looks tired as well, and their bodies hurt. Antioxidants help with any inflammatory condition. So we're very careful to provide a diet like that at Frankie and Andy's Place. And I urge people to think about cooking home cooked food for their dog, even if it's not all of the diet. I would say, think about even half of the diet, adding a topper of homemade food. It's amazing. Fish, or omega-3s. Open a can of sardines in oil and give your dog some every day. Crazy benefits for the dog, for their skin, for their brain, for everything. The other one is really allowing the dog to have traction in his or her home. It's very shocking to me how many people wouldn't go running on hardwood floors with socks on because they know they're going to kill themselves and break their neck. But their poor dogs are made to walk around on hardwood floors all day. Well, that affects the dog's gait, and they can slip up, they can hurt themselves, and that's how about 50% of cruciate ligament injuries occur anyway. So imagine being an old dog and not being able to get your balance too well. Best thing you can do, go and buy a big bunch of yoga mats, put them down. They're easily wiped clean, and they provide amazing traction in hallways and on floors all throughout the home. Cheap answer to a big problem.
Okay, I did have one more question about the dog food. So having it fresh, would you recommend that for like dogs in any age of life, or just specifically for senior dogs?
For any age. And like I said, you know, if you pick a really good kibble, something that's really good quality, there are many different qualities of kibble. The best ones are baked. The rubbish ones are extruded, and they tend to be from the big box stores. But even if you use part kibble and part fresh for any age of dog, it really isn't a difficult thing to pop some chicken breasts and some sweet potatoes, some carrots into the slow cooker with a little bit of celery and a bit of zucchini. Let it cook for a few hours, maybe more than a few, and then add some parsley in at the end, and you've all of a sudden you've got an amazing topper for your dog that's going to really wow his taste buds, give him something to look forward to, something to live for. So any age of dog can benefit from that.
Absolutely. Having a gourmet doggy chef like on site at the place, that's
Right.
going to help out any dog, I'm sure. And speaking of having your on-site chefs available, do you guys have on-site vets for the animals as well?
We don't have on-site vets. We've actually got very well-trained staff who are able to do wellness checks every day. They'll check for lumps and bumps, check for areas of heat on the dog's body to see if there's inflammation. A lot of people don't realize that if you run your hand over a dog's body and you feel an area of profound heat that's a different temperature to the rest of the dog, that's inflammation. That's the body sending blood to that area because it's of concern. So our people can check those things out, and they'll look in the dog's ears, you know, check their teeth, etc. So we kind of try and get in front of health issues. And then we love to use our partner vets because they will always help us look for solutions that may be not as invasive as others. We're not funded to do massive surgeries. These are dogs that are at the end of their life, but we very much want to give them absolute quality of life.
And I know who else wants to give your dogs quality of life are your volunteers. I want to talk a little bit about how the program works or how someone can get involved, because you have a lot of amazing volunteers out here today helping make sure that this tournament runs well. So how can people volunteer if they want to be out here having all the fun next year?
Email me, please. We've got 42 volunteers, and I will tell you that out of the volunteers, quite a lot of them started coming because they felt a need for what the cabin offered. It's the absolute ultimate win-win. The dogs win, the volunteers win. And what we say is if you want to volunteer, email me, and they've got to be prepared to pick up poop. If they don't pick up poop, they're out.
I should make that the number one requirement.
Hey, I'm Amy. I'm a volunteer here at Frankie and Andy's place. I do this because I love dogs. I love all these animals. I have a passion for any dog at all. So I come here, and honestly, I get more out of it than they do. I spend time, more emotional time here with them than anywhere else. They soothe my soul.
I'm Bree Christian. I've been with Frankie and Andy's Place for 3 years. I stumbled upon Frankie and Andy's Place job searching, and I didn't realize how much it would actually change my life. I live with depression and anxiety, and when I'm at the cabins with the dogs, those don't exist. So it's really been a great opportunity for me to really get to know myself and really kind of come to terms with everything in my life by being able to help the dogs and be a part of their life and the end of their lives. This place is just super special and really, really heals the people as much as the people help the dogs.
I had been a client of Penny's at Desperate Dogs and had gotten to know Penny very well, and was so impressed with her vision about what she wanted to do for senior dogs and the community. And I remember when we got the first cabin, no restroom, long days, just a handful of volunteers, but they were all very dedicated. This place to me has meant, it is really my happy place. I started out coming every single week, and right now I'm just doing every other week as a volunteer. As I've aged, I can't do a lot of the things like walking through the woods like the other volunteers can do, but I have lots of pets and lots of love for these guys, and they've taught me many, many lessons over the years. I'm going to get choked up in a second, so I don't want to do that. It just blows my mind how people can just toss them aside like they were yesterday's news. They've taught me many, many lessons about resiliency and unconditional love, so I am forever grateful to them, and I will always be here for them as long as I'm breathing. And that's my story.
Hi, I'm Diane Carr. I learned about Frankie and Andy's Place from another volunteer, and I thought, let me go check this out and see what it's all about, because I am a #1 dog lover. So I came as a volunteer, and this is absolutely, as you can hear, one of the best places in the world to be. My job, I come once a week, and I help clean the cabins. I change out beds, I change out waters, mop and sweep, and just give the dogs a nice clean space for them to be. And let me tell you, this is a fabulous place for senior dogs. These dogs are so happy. They are so full of life. It's their end of life, and they're forever home, and it couldn't be a better place. In fact, some of the meals that I've seen cooked, I could sit down and eat with them, because they are some of the most fabulous home-cooked meals that you'll ever find. But I love it here. It is just a happy place. The dogs are so happy and so full of life, and you know that they are taken care of for the rest of their life. All right, babies, let's go. Let's go. Come on, Normal. Come on, baby. Come on, darling. Come on, darling.
Hi, I'm Linda Whalen, and I've been a volunteer at Frankie and Andy's a little over a year and a half now. I come in on Tuesdays and I help clean and change the pups' beds, and I get to love on them. The reason that I found out about Frankie and Andy's is that I was wanting to find a place to volunteer where I could be of service, and I've always loved dogs. And the first time I came, I just fell in love. It was just the place that my heart wanted to be. And there's just nothing better. The dogs give so much to each volunteer that comes in. Sometimes they even pick a favorite. And it's a place that lets you know that everyone that comes has a good purpose to be here, and the joy that you get. It's joyful. I look forward to every Tuesday morning, and it's just a great place to be, and I'm very grateful for the love and kindness that Frankie and Andy gives to the dogs. And even though they could be here a week, or they can be here 3 or 4 years, it's just the best place in the world for them to be, and I'm very grateful for it. And that's my story.
Hi, my name is Kara Cheney, and I'm head of housekeeping here at Frankie and Andy's. I really love my job. It gives me a sense of purpose, and it puts me at peace. I love coming to work every day. The dogs are real special to me. I treat this place just like it's my home, and the animals, my children, and I know how much they depend on me. And it just makes me feel really good to be able to come here and make them feel comfortable, as much comfortable as possible for the remaining of their days. And it really makes my heart feel really good. I know I'm making a difference in this world and making a difference in the animal's life. That's my story.
Hi, I'm Marilyn Rank, and I'm a massage therapist and a registered nurse. I do the massages over here at Frankie and Andy's place. And I come over here and try to give these guys a little bit of comfort. And a lot of times Penny will tell me exactly who she wants me to massage, who really needs it, either emotionally or physically, because some of the newer dogs that come in sometimes just need to be feeling more comfort and more comfortable. I put music on for them because it's soothing, and actually it puts me in a good state too, because if you're not in a good state, you can't give a good massage. Say a little prayer for them, and a lot of times I give them a little kiss. and that's the end. I just like to make sure that they know that they're loved.
Hi, I'm Gretchen. I basically am dog chef, caregiver, personal assistant, concierge, basically anything these guys need. I ended here, I didn't even know this place existed until I saw an ad on Facebook, and I came probably a year and a half ago, and I just fell in love with the mission and the fact that it's a twofold. It's basically helping the dogs and helping people. And since I've been here, I myself have been able to cut down some anxiety medications just because of the calming of the whole environment.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Calderhead, and I'm going to tell you my story about being here at Frankie and Andy's place. I've been a customer of Penny's Desperate Dogs for 15, 16 years, so I've known her for a very long time. And after she moved to this property, I remember her telling me she had a dream of opening up a senior and hospice care dog sanctuary, which I thought was very sweet at the time, but I wasn't sure how that would work out. And my daughter heard her say that, and that year for Christmas, my daughter's like, I want one of my presents to be a donation to Frankie and Andy's. So I was like, that's totally fine. And over time, as she got things going, I inquired about volunteering, and I started to volunteer, and I really loved being with the dogs and getting to know their different personalities. And probably about 6 months after volunteering, Penny decided that I should work here. So I will let you know this was completely a Penny decision, and I had very little to do with that. So I started working here, and some days the work is challenging, some days it's heartbreaking, but most days it's full of joy, because how could you not be happy with all these dogs around? And I know that over the 7 years that they've been open, they've taken care of somewhere in like 170 dogs. And I've been lucky enough to see dogs who come in with just days to live. And within those few days, they turn around completely. Their attitude is different. Of course, they still have a long way to go for healing, but they're getting good food. They're getting love, unconditional love. And they have a nice place to lay down and sleep, and they feel safe. And it's amazing how all of that changes a dog. Now, some dogs, they have a good attitude coming in, and maybe just what they have we can't cure, but we can make them comfortable. And that's always our goal. Of course, we're always devastated when we lose one, but I think that goes to show what kind of people we are. We're attached to them. We're their cabin mamas. We love them all, and it is hard when we lose them, but there's so much joy in all the other days that's why I like to come to work here and have them greet me at the door and wag their tails and circle me and want me to give them pets. I really love that, and it's just a great feeling to have whenever you come into work. So that's why I'm here, and that's why I've stayed here, and that's my story.
Hey, I'm I'm Lindsay. I am one of the employees at Frankie and Andy's Place. And today I'm going to show you a little bit about some of the care board tasks that we do here at the cabin. So these are just different things that we do. As you can see, there's different things every day, morning shift and night shift. And it kind of just helps us keep an eye on, any of the dogs that may have potential for issues. So this here is Reba McIntyre. And she is the sweetest girl. So we're gonna clean her ears, and I'm gonna kind of let her sniff first so that she knows what we're doing. We don't like to move too quickly with the seniors because they can't see well and hear well a lot of times. So we go as slow as we need to.
Hey, I'm Kathy White, and I've been a volunteer here for 3 or 4 years. I don't even remember. I guess I started because I had a dog that was a client of Desperate Dogs, and Penny got to know me, and she knew I'm a nurse, or I'm retired now, but she thought, oh, she would be a good volunteer. So when I did retire, I started volunteering pretty much every week, and I just really enjoy being up here in the cabins. I think part of my interest too is that with my medical background, I was really fascinated by what Penny's accomplishing with the holistic care she's giving these dogs. And to see some of these dogs that are just really in their last stages, living their last days in what they like to call a soft spot to land, really is heartwarming. It is, of course, very sad when we see a dog that we've gotten accustomed to and gotten close to, and then they're not here the next time we come because they've had to cross the Rainbow Bridge. But we know that that's why they're here, that this is their hospice place, and we really enjoy being able to give them the love that they really deserve, that they may not have had their whole lives. So it's been a real gratifying experience for me, and that's my story.
Hi, I'm Kristen Snyder. I'm the ranch manager here at Frankie's, and today we're in the kitchen prepping some of the fresh meat and vegetables that the dogs eat on a daily basis. Here at Frankie's, we're all about holistic health and wellness, and whatever you put into the dog, you definitely get out of them. So today we're prepping some sweet potatoes, carrots, and parsley to go in the different casseroles that we're making today, along with some fresh chicken and fresh pork. All the dogs here have a different daily menu made for each dog, catered to them. Some of them can't have chicken, some of them can't have pork. So we change the menu pretty much every day. Everything is fresh for them. So basically we're short order cooks for dogs, and every day we do a different menu for them and make sure that they have exactly what they need nutritionally. And that's my story.
I'm Crystal Mayweather.
Hey, I'm Dustin Dean. We first got involved with Frankie and Andy's through a golf tournament. Really didn't know a lot about it. Come to find out a little bit more, talking with Steven, and found out that we could help further. Our company is fire protection company. We do that in the Southeast in apartment complexes. Glad to help with Frankie and Andy's. You want to tell them about our dogs?
We are pet parents. We have 2 dogs. One's a pit mix, one's a beagle. Pit mix is 12 years old, and we love what Frankie and Andy is doing with senior dogs, and haven't found anything like this that I've ever seen before. So we're just so appreciative of what Frankie and Andy's is doing for senior dogs.
It's awesome because one of our dogs is 12 years old, got the gray on the face, older, struggling a little bit, but it's great to help them, and it's great to come here to Frankie and Andy's and see, because a lot of times the older dogs are neglected and discarded. They don't do that here. They love them, and they take care of them and give them a great home. So that's why we support Frankie and Andy's Place. So from Superhero Fire Protection, here we go to Frankie and Andy's Place. Keep up the good work.
Thank you so much.
We are actually on location at Frankie and Andy's Place 6th annual golf tournament at Lake Lanier Islands.
My name is Pat Mitchell, and I'm with Super Duper Dog Training. Actually, I am Super Duper Dog Training, and I have been involved with Frankie and Andy's Place for several years now. And not only am I a volunteer, but I'm actually a donor and actually one of the sponsors for today's event. And this has just been such a success. Everybody has been smiling, getting great golf shot, and is all for great cause, which is taking care of the senior dogs for the rescue and helping Frankie and Andy's Place to grow even more every year. So thanks so much for joining us.
When Julie first brought up Frankie and Andy's Place, I had no idea what they did. And when she explained that it was kind of like a sanctuary for elderly dogs, dogs nobody wanted, I was just like, okay, how can no one want to go? Even as a cat person, I was just kind of like, that is, I don't know.
There's still so much to give. And
yeah, I
it's
know.
Just amazing that we have 24 dogs here, and we're getting to witness the way they live and they interact with the volunteers. Yeah. And they're amazing animals.
Yeah,
and we're lucky and proud to be a part of Frankie and Andy's Place.
Yeah. I've been really impressed with the staff and the volunteers at Frankie and Andy's Place, because they literally get here super early in the morning to hand make the food.
It's
and
an
then
all-day thing.
Yeah, it just how much goes into taking care of these animals that are forgotten. It's just impressive that people have a passion for that, and I don't know, I just think it's really cool.
There's no better matchup here. Subaru loves pets, we love animals, and we're glad to be here.
What else is next for Frankie and Andy's Place?
Oh, so we've just actually launched a foster program because we want to build more cabins. That's in the long-term plans. Unfortunately, this year, because of the lumber crisis and the staffing crisis in construction companies, etc., we've not been able to schedule the cabin rollout that we wanted to. So right now we have 3 cabins, but we are planned to have 5. Within the next year, I'd love to think that we could have the other 2 cabins delivered on site and set up. But in the meantime, because we don't want these wonderful dogs to go without the opportunity to be saved and be part of our program, we've rolled out a foster program so that we can really hit our goal of having about 35 dogs in the program this year. And if we get the other 2 cabins, then we'll be above 40 dogs. That's the plan. Grow, and spread the word. I mean, it's a massive message of love that these dogs go out and take out to the community. It's a huge message, and it's so effective with all ages, with everybody. It's just, they can't help but smile when the dog walks into the room. Everybody drops what they're doing. That's an amazing opener if somebody wants to talk and doesn't quite know how to. So we want to take that out as far and wide as possible.
Absolutely, and we want you to grow, and that's why we're so glad that here at Welcome Home Doggy we could partner with you guys. I want to show you I'm wearing your colors, purple and brown, and we're just really happy today. Absolutely. Well, thank you, Penny. Thank you for diving into the program, telling us what it's all about and how people can get involved.
Thank you so much for partnering with us. I can't tell you what a beautiful opportunity this has been for us, having you there today and having you guys around with us all the time. And you know, what can I say? When we look back and we're in 10 years' time, we're in Hollywood, all of us drinking champagne, looking at the film that you've made of the Frankie and Andy's Place story, and it's #1 in the box office, then those will be really happy days.
Absolutely. We're going to have an after party in England, where you're from.
I'm up for that. I'm sure up for that.